restful day. I decided to let myself not stress about waking up so I could go to breakfast to be seen. It is good for me to be seen, but not if I am consistently and constantly burning too many candles at too many ends, too many torches. I am sorry, but the oatmeal is instant and is just okay. I go more so because it is habit and ritual, but I am not bound to the practice, though is good practice. It is an interesting writing spot, too, letting myself disappear in public as time passes, registering only minor but pleasant reminders of the outside world, the freshening of coffee that does not dry. Why so much coffee in the morning on my days off? I'm just going to be taking a nap again anyway. Who knows, but it is there, and the writing I do is just for me. It goes nowhere. Well, it all does get transcribed and adapted in some way, shape, or form eventually. A session of thought collection, seeing my own thoughts, letting them be seen too, if only by myself. Let them take a shape so I can look at them better. Let them be real so I can begin to see from alternative perspective. It is just me by myself, no one to hold me accountable, though I feel I must be noticed, because after a while of being there on the same days at the same time, wanting the same table, and usually ordering the same thing, sometimes I get grits. They started having a place setting there waiting for me. I find it a little creepy, but it probably should be taken as affectionate anticipation of an expected patron. And I do tip well, and I am quiet, and I mind my business, though I will on occasion ask for some bits of news or clarification on things going on in the area. How predictable of me. I have been recently amending myself for spontaneity, subverting my own schedules that I tell myself I must keep, allowing for a new freedom of movement and travel. I do not have to do anything. I have choices. That is a freedom. It is a privilege. It is a gift. One squandered, misused, and taken for granted for so long. But if I hadn't, I would not appreciate what I have learned up to now. I would still be fretting and worrying, bemoaning, beleaguering and belaboring the simplest article or chore, paralyzed by thought into the action of nothing, thinking myself into oblivion, thinking myself into a hole in the ground that I would perpetually keep walking into day after day. Where am I going? Good question. I would like to know that too. All I know is I slept in and felt okay about it. I didn't think about or wonder in the slightest if anyone noticed I wasn't there. Well, maybe I did. But then again, I think too much of myself. I give myself too much credit. People idly may wonder offhand, but they really don't care. The next time they see me and see me being okay as I am, explanation enough. And I suppose I am okay with letting go of my excursions north to Indianapolis for the meeting up there. I have changed. The meeting itself has changed. The environment has changed. The culture of recovery has changed. The only thing I wonder that has not changed is the disease itself. I was simply becoming overwrought, overcome, and overwhelmed by the everything of that endeavor. I lost my voice. I lost my desire to speak, to be known, and finally to be seen. Maybe not in that particular order. I disappeared from that place, but stayed long enough to see it repopulate with new faces, pass the torch. Sometimes I must relinquish my voice so that others may find and employ their own. What I have to say is of no more value than that of any other. Plus, it was a 40-minute drive each way into hostile territory. Driving up there is like accepting the eventuality or increased likelihood of some accident or collision. And then there are all the other hazards too. Traveling alone is not the safest of ideas. Oh yes, I just remembered the whole point I wanted to touch on. Accountability. I've come to believe that the most important person that I absolutely must be accountable to is myself. Same goes with honesty. If anyone is going to guilt, shame, or remorse me, I want to be at the front of the line. I am my own strictest disciplinarian. If anything, after my own self-lecturing and putting myself down for where I have disappointed myself and others around me, not fulfilling my own perceived expectations of self, Others seem almost nice as they attempt to console, reassure, and encourage me. Yes, I can do things. Yes, I will not always get everything I want done. Yes, it will not always turn out like how I want. But I don't need to catastrophize anything, or beat myself up, or bully myself. No bully. It may even be difficult for me to remember or even to accept that I am loved. I know, right? That is insane. I am unlovable. Don't people realize that? Who are these people anyway? Who am I? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. They are wrong. I refuse. I deny. Old habits, old thinking. But are they old if I still think this way? I find myself in contempt. I judge myself unworthy. I condemn myself to suffer. I feel life in solitary ought to teach me. I am no good. I don't deserve this. I haven't the right. This is part of my self-talk. This is part of how I think about myself, part of my lives, part of my chains. Recognition is only a beginning. I don't have the answers, but I can work on things, work on myself, work on being the person capable of not believing my own lies that keep me sick. That pivotal and primary suspension of mine own disbelief. My foe is subtle and in shadow. I must be quick. Elusive thoughts that evade surfacing for me to cast my gaze upon. I don't have to get better today. Just do better. There is no timetable or schedule. I don't need to have a cure in hand by next Wednesday. With any luck, I will never fully recover. I mean, there is always the illusion of recovery, but I don't want that. Recovered from a hopeless state of mind and body will be sufficient. Thank you very much. And sharing with others what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. Strength, experience, and hope. It can be done. I know it. I have seen it. I am working on it myself and have found satisfactory progress. Progress enough to keep going, keep believing, keep sharing, keep interacting, keep breathing. And not to compare and contrast myself with other people. What they have is for them. What I have is for me. It is difficult, though, at times to remember the simple things that seem like they ought to be easy to do, but in practice are not. I do know or feel that when I am in a sustained moment of being where I want to be, doing what I want to do, being the person that I am feels pretty cool. Being in and appreciating the moment as I am living it, being present, engaged, and aware. It comes to my attention that not everything is as I would exactly like it. That is okay. I don't know exactly what I mean to be saying anyway. I'm just spending some time with my thoughts, quality time. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to earth-shatteringly be relevant or insightful. This is not an epic ballad I compose. It is just a me, a one of me. But there are thoughts here to look at, maybe craft out further or expand on. Hard to say. The gears are turning, the wheels in motion. Happenings are afoot. I have choices today, good choices, better choices, healthier choices, ones of progress, promise, and potential. A life worth living, worth being, worth sharing. All these things, foreign concepts, an undiscovered country, to me, just a few short years ago. I was asleep for a long, long time, and I have come a long way, far enough to see the journey that lay ahead, and to not be in a panic about it, but to be in a wonder about it instead.